Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Murali Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
We'll be sharing Bhagavad Gita from 4th canto, 28th chapter, verses 64 and 65. Yes, Prabhuji, please start.
Hare Krishna. Welcome for Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Today we are planning to discuss about Puranjana becoming woman in the next life. This was a very, very long story in the 4th canto, and we are coming to the end of that particular canto, particular chapter, where we will have to discuss about 428, 64 and 65, which are the last two verses of this particular chapter. We'll go ahead on that. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter discussed on Puranjana become woman on the next life. Text canto 4, chapter 28, text number 64. Evam sa manaso hamso hamsena pratibohitaha swastastaya vyacharena nastamapa punasmritim. Evam sa manaso hamso hamsena pratibohitaha swastastat vyabhacharena Vasharinena Nastam Mapa Punasmritim. Evam, thus, sa, he, the individual soul, manasa, living together within the heart. Hamsa, like the swan. Hamsena, by the other swan. Pratibodhita, being instructed. Swastha, situated in self-realization. Tat vyabhacharena, by being separated from the super soul. Nastam, which was lost. Apa, gained. Puna, again. Smritim, real memory. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this way, both swans live together in the heart. When one swan is instructed by the other, he is situated in his constitutional position, which means he regains his original Krishna consciousness, which was lost because of his material attraction. Purport. Here it is clearly stated, Hamsa Hamsena Pratibohitaha. The individual soul and the super soul are both compared to swan, Hamsa, because they are white or uncontaminated. One swan, however, is superior and is the instructor of the other. When the inferior swan is separated from the other swan, he is attracted to material enjoyment. This is the cause of his fall down. When he hears the instruction of the other swan, he understands his real position and is again revived to the original consciousness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna comes down, Avatara, to deliver his devotees and kill the demons. Paritranaya sadhunam. He also gives his sublime instruction in the form of Bhagavad Gita. The individual soul has to understand this position by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, because the text of Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood simply by academic qualification. One has to learn Bhagavad Gita from a realized soul. Tatvidi pradipadena pariprakshnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Thus, one has to select a bona fide spiritual master and become enlightened to his original consciousness. In this way, the individual soul can understand that he is always subordinate to the supersoul. As soon as he declines to remain subordinate and tries to become an enjoyer, he begins his material conditioning. When he abandons his spirit and being an individual owner or enjoyer, he becomes situated in his liberated state. The way Shasta, meaning situated in his original position, is very significant in this verse. When one gives up his unwanted attitude of superiority, he becomes situated in his original position. The word Tat Vyacharena is also significant, for it indicates that when one is separated from God due to his disobedience, his real sense is lost. Again, by the grace of Krishna and Guru, he can be he can be properly situated in his liberated position. These verses are spoken by Sri Narada Muni, and his purpose of speaking them is to revive our consciousness. Although the living entity and the supersoul are one in quality, the individual soul has to pursue the instruction of supersoul, that is a state of liberation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Takshurulibhidam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Satisva Padantigam Vandeham Sri Gurum Siyudapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagarajadam Sagana Raghunadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Sri Visakhavitam Cha Te Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Bhajagatpate Gobesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpataru Basya Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devigi Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Sri Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashata Desatarine Om Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Patayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratuche Namaha Nama Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hidaya Cha Daitya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, in this particular verse, it is clearly stated, Hamso Hamsena Pradibodhitaha. The individual soul and the super soul are both compared to a swan. One swan is superior and the other swan is taking the instruction from him. In that case, there is no fall down, because getting a instruction from a spiritual master and following it properly, there is no fall down on that. Always there is a elevation. And also it is stated by Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood by our own efforts, our understanding. It is not possible. It is not an academic qualification. One has to hear it from a realized soul. Tattvidi Pradibhadena Pariprakshana Sevaya Upadekshanti Jnanam Jnanesa Tatsarshina. Try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master and inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. See that so many conditions. And the self-realized soul can impart the knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So here Prabhupada very clearly indicate about the importance of spiritual master and the understanding process and our subordination to the super soul. and our being situated to be situated in our original constitutional position. Servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these were instructed by Srila Narada Muni to Prashinabari Parshit, and this is as a story. It was given to us with so many analogies, right? In the next particular verse, which is 628-65, Prabhupada is going to explain each and every character which was mentioned in this particular chapter. It is going to what is the thing it is going to recognize? What is the thing it is going to symbolize? That what is going to say. So the next verse 428-65. Parihismanetat adhyatmam prakashchena pradashtitam yat paraksho priyo devo Bhagavan Visva Bhavanaha. Parihismanetat adhyatmam parokshena pradashitam yat paroksha priya devo Bhagavan Visva Bhavanaha. Parihishman, O King Parikshna Bhakti Bharit, Etad, this Adhyatam, narration of self-realization, Parokshena, indirectly, Pradashitam, instructed, yet because Paroksha Priya, interesting by indirect description, Deva, the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord of Personality of Godhead, Visva Bhavanaha, the cause of all causes. My dear King Prashinpari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, is celebrated to be known indirectly. Thus, I have described the story of Puranjana to you. Actually, it is an instruction for self-realization. Prabhupada says in his purport, there are many similar stories in Puranas for self-realization. As stated in Vedas, Paroksha Priya Ivadi Deva. There are many stories in Puranas that are intended to interest ordinary man in transcendental subjects. But actually, these refers to real facts. They are not to be considered stories without a transcendental purpose. Some of them refer to real historical facts. One should be interested, however, in the real purport of the story. Indirect instruction is quickly understandable for a common man. Factually, the path of Bhakti Yoga is the path of hearing directly about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shravanam, Krishnam, Vishnu. But those who are not interested in hearing directly about the activities of the Lord, or who cannot understand them, can very effectively hear such stories unfeeble as this, one narrated by Narada Muni. So here, Prabhupada giving the glossary of some of the important words which were used in this chapter. I will read it one by one. Adesha Kari, the action resulting from sinful activities. Agastya, the mind. Amatya, the governor of senses, the mind. Adbhuda, various types of Sravana and Kirtana of Supreme Lords, name, quality, form, and so on. Hari, impediment like disease. Bhoga, enjoyment. Here in the word refers to real enjoyment in spiritual life. Bhartya, the servant of the body, namely the senses. Dravida Raja, devotional service of a person eligible to act in devotional service. Dwara, the doors of the body such as eyes and ears. Graha, home. For spiritual cultivation, one requires an undisturbed place or the good association of devotees. Idmavaha, the devotee who approaches a spiritual master, Idma, refers to wood that is taken to burn as a fuel for the fire. A brahmachari is supposed to take this Idma to ignite the fire used in performance of sacrifice by spiritual instructions. A brahmachari is trained to ignite the fire and offer oblation in the morning. He is supposed to go to the spiritual master and take lessons on the transcendental subject matter and Vedic instruction is that when approaching the spiritual master, one must carry with him the fuel to perform yajna or sacrifice. The exact Vedic instruction is as follows. Tad vijnanatam sagurum eva bigachet smit pani strotyam brahmanishtam. To learn transcendental subject matter, one must approach the spiritual master. In doing so, he should carry fuel to burn in sacrifice. The symptom of such a spiritual master is that he is expert in understanding the Vedic conclusions. And therefore, he constantly engages to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mudra says, by serving such a bona fide spiritual master, gradually a conditioned soul becomes detached from the material enjoyment and invariably makes progress in spiritual realization under the direction of spiritual master. Thus, who misled by the illusory energy are never interested in approaching spiritual master and make a life successful. In this particular paragraph, there is something indicated when a devotee, when a student, when he is approaching a spiritual master, he will have to carry the fuel to perform yajna or sacrifice. That is what is stated in the injection of Vedic principles. What you might have seen when Krishna and Sudama, they are going there to the forest for Sandipi Mani's purpose. They are collecting all the firewood for doing that. What is the significance of firewood? That is a you will have to put some effort to collect those things and to do the yajna, sacrifice. In when I remember, maybe around 50 years before, 55 years before, when I was a student in my school, that time they did the sacred ceremony for me at my age of 14 or something. That time they told me the previous 1 month I will have to go and collect the something called samidu. Samid means this is from the that particular tree that all the dry sticks, it will fall down. Those sticks I will have to collect and make it as a bundle and keep it for 1 month. That is my job. Before I am going in for the sacred thread ceremony. So they will give something called a Brahmobadesham. The father in the parampara, he will connect it like this. Something was there. That time I myself used to go to collect the firewood and bring it here. So, and subsequently, whenever we do daily Sandhya Vandanam or something, that time we will use that firewood to be, we will ignite a fire, sacrificial fire, and try to chant the mantras like all the Devada, so many things that was there. Then a different type of what I can call Sandhyavans are there. Vaishnava Sandhyavans is a little different from that. Okay. So further on this importance of approaching a spiritual master and performing the sacrificial things, it is indicated. And here, Jaya, next word, it is intelligence. And next is Jirna Sarpa, the fatigued air of life. Kalakanya, we heard so many times in this chapter in Puranjana. Puranjana was attacked by a Kalakanya. Kalakanya is nothing but invalidity of the old age. Each and every one of us, we are getting aged. Each and every day, each and every hour, each and every moment, we are becoming 1 second older than the earlier second, 1 hour earlier than the earlier hour, 1 day earlier than the earlier day, or 1 month or 1 year elder than the previous year. So this way, the Kalakanya is a thing which will always make us to get aged. No exceptions. But we will be thinking, if a death comes, what we will be thinking, that one fellow only will die. I will not die. When a disease comes, no, very sorry about that man. He is hospitalized, he is suffering. All that we will be feeling with a great this thing, but we will be forgetting the next moment something can happen to us. Okay, so but at old age disease, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anusarsanam, what it stated in Shiva Bhagavad Gita. So we cannot avoid that invalidity of the old age. That is referred here as Kalakanya. Then Kama is a high fever. Kama is high fever. There is no doubt. This Kama is a thing which will make you retain to this particular role. And Kulakala, the place where there is no disturbance. Kudumbini, intelligence. Jaya, also intelligence. Kudumbini indicated in this particular verse also. Prabhupada states it's intelligence. Madirikshena. Madirikshena refers to one whose eyes are so attractive that one who observes them become maddened by her. It's referred to a lady, girl. In other words, Madirikshena means a very beautiful young girl. According to Jiva Goswami, Madirikshena means the personified deity of bhakti. This is the way Vaishnavas look into it. Even though there is some material meaning of a beautiful girl or something, Jiva Goswami says is a personified deity of bhakti that should be so very attractive. If one is attracted by the bhakti cult, he becomes engaged in service of the Lord and the spiritual master, and thus his life becomes successful. Vaidarbhi, the woman, become a follower of her husband as she left her comfortable home for service of her husband. A serious student of spiritual understanding must give up everything for the service of the spiritual master, like how the Vaidarbhi followed her husband. He is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, Yashya Prasada Bhavat Prasada. If one wants actual success in life, he must strictly follow the instruction of the spiritual master. By following such instruction, one is sure to make rapid progress in spiritual life. This statement by Vishwanath Chakravarti is pursuance of the following injunction from Svateshwara Upanishad. Ashya devo para bhaktir, yatha devo tatha guru. Tashyate haita hayartha, prakashchante mahatmanaha. Only who unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, and all the import of Vedic knowledge is automatically revealed. In Sandoya Upanishad, it is stated, Acharyan Purusho Veda. One who approaches a bona fide spiritual master can understand everything about spiritual realization. And further, it is stated here, Malaitvaja, a nice devotee who is like sandalwood. Panchala is 5 sense objects. Parishchada, the total aggregate of senses. Paurajana, the 7 elements of which constitutes the body. Pautra is the passion and gravity. Prajvara, a kind of fever called Vishnu Jvara. Pratikriya, counteracting agents such as mantras and medicines. Purapalaka, the life air. Putra, the consciousness. Sainika, the conditions of threefold miseries. Sapta Sudha, the 7 sons, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping the deity, and become a servant of the Lord. Saudrya, endeavor. Suta, the son of Vaidarbhi, or other words, one who is somewhat advanced in fruitive activities and who comes in contact with the devotees, spiritual master. Such a person becomes interested in the subject matter of devotional service. Vaidarbhi, the woman who was formerly a man but took birth as a woman in his next life because of too much attachment to woman. Darba means gusha grass in fruitive activities or karmakandiya ceremonies, kusha grass. One requires kusha grass, thus Vaidarbhi refers to one who takes birth in family of karmakandiya understanding. Why Darba means kusha grass. So Vaidarbhi refers to one who takes birth in the family of Karmakandya understanding. However, if by Karmakanda activities one by chance comes into the contact with a devotee, as Vaidarbhi did when she married to Malaitwaja, his life becomes successful. He then pursues the devotional service of the Lord. The conditioned soul becomes liberated simply by following the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master. Vaidarbha Rajasimha, the best person who are expert in fruitive activities. Virya, one who has mercy. Yavana, the servant of Yamaraja. So many instructions, so many type of analogies, so many references it is given. All this is look like a story for us. This Puranjana subject matter itself, it will be starting till end. It will be like a story. It will come like that Malay Soja come and so many other characters. It will be Kalakanya was there and that five-hooded servant was there. And so many things were there in this particular subject matter. But all here, Narada Muni says, it's a reference to some particular subject matter, which is devotional service. And what is the importance of devotional service? Narada Muni want to explain to Parchinabarit through all these examples and all these analogies. The human life of form of life is meant for doing devotional service only and started by the great devotees. What Prahlad Maharaj says, Prahlad Uvacha, Kaumare Yachares Pregno, Dharmam Bhagavatam Miha, Durlabam Manusha Janma, Tattabi Adurvam Artaham. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of our life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood to practice the activities of devotion service, giving up all other engagement, the human body is the most rarely achieved. And although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete protection. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of life. According to Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of life, a brahmacharya system is introduced, so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Swalpamabhyasya dharmasya trete mahodbhayat. Even a little advancement on the path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to Vedics of Vedic literature, to become brahmachari. It teaches mothers to kill their children and even in the womb, on the plow of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. So our brahmacharis, our sannyasis, they are very drastically trying to save the society by making the people into brahmacharis so that they can follow the swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trete mahodbhayat. So by little advancement in the path of self-realization, that will remove all the danger in the path. So they are trying, but some of these people killing the girl child, so many this thing is happening in this world. And by chance the child is saved, is educated in the subject of sense gratification, not in the proper Vedic way. Gradually throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in perfection of life. Men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human form of life. Durlabam Manusha Janma. They are forgetting that, and they are each and every day, every hour, every second, they are losing the time by involved in the sense gratification methods. That's why the men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling their duration of their human lives by actually preparing to what it will happen. It will prepare them to transmigrate to the degraded species among the 84 lakhs forms of life. So degradation, it will put you into some other animal kingdom. The Krishna conscious movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service, which can save a human being from being degraded again to the animal life. Prahlad Maharaja, he was telling, Bhagavata Dharma consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. In all the schools, colleges, and universities, and at home, all the children and youth should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, to put them into practice in their life. Why will I have to read Bhagavad Gita? It's not just to have an academic qualification, but to put them practice into our own life. Thus become strong in devotional service, free from fear of being degraded to animal life. All this is a consecutive happenings. Following the Bhagavad Dharma has been made extremely easy in this age of Kali. Mahaprabhu has given us so many great things, and Shastra says, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama iva kevalam, kalau nasteva, 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 gadiranyata. One need to only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just Idi Shodakhanam Nam Kali Kalmashanasanam Natho Paradrubraya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyata. So this chanting of holy name, because there is no other way, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gadirinata. So chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that also it is not just chanting. Chanting with the mood of Mahaprabhu in Srishtasaya has given us a wonderful thing. What is that? Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorahit Sagishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. How many of us we are doing, I don't know. But taller than a blade of grass, just humbler than a blade of grass, taller than a tree. When the tree is cut down, it is not agitating. When the straw is where we stepped down on that, it is not agitated. So in that particular way, we will have to keep our tolerance and humility. At the same time, we should give all the respect to all the others, but at the same time not expect any respect for us. Trinatha Bisunichan Sarora Krishna Hamanina Manajena Kirtaniya Sadahari. In that particular mood, we will have to chant always about the glories of the Lord by chanting the holy name. So this is very clearly given to us by Mahaprabhu. We should follow that. Okay, all these stories about Puranjana was referring only for doing the devotional service in a proper way. And further, if you see in the 10th chapter, what Lord says to gopis on their devotion service. See, there was an instance, Yadavas and many other kings met in Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse and discussed topic concerning Lord Krishna. It also relates to how Krishna met Nanda Maharaj and other residents of Vrindavana like gopis at Kurukshetra and gave them the great joy. The Supreme Lord approached the gopis in a secluded place and they stood in their ecstatic trance. After embracing them, each one of them, it is stated in the verse, and inquiring about their well-being, he laughed and spoke as follows. What Krishna says, my dear girlfriends, do you still remember me? It was for my relative's sake I stayed away for so long, intent to destroy my enemies. Do you forgive things I am ungrateful and thus hold me in contempt? After all, it is Supreme Lord who brings living being together and then separates them. Who is telling? Lord himself says it is the Supreme Lord who brings living being together and then separates them. To console that gopis, how much trick Lord is playing. Just as the wind brings together the masses of cloud, blades of grass, wisps of the cotton, and particles of dust, only to scatter them all again. It is making them together and making. Lord is telling the truth, but at the same time, when he says, as if somebody creating all these effects, that is make us to laugh. Same thing, it is the way he is cheating the gopis. It is very clearly indicated. That's why in 10th canto, what is Lord is telling, Mai bhaktir hai bhutanam amrtavya kalpate distyayat asin mat siniro bhavati nam mat apana mathapana. Rendering devotional service to me qualifies any living being for eternal life. But by your good fortune, you have developed a special loving attitude towards me, by which you have obtained me. Lord is telling to the gopis. But according to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, gopis are replying, but that Supreme Lord you are blaming is none other than yourself. That's what the gopis are telling. Oh, most clever of speakers, everyone in this world knows this. Why should we be ignorant of this fact? All right. Lord Krishna then told them, if this is true, I must be God, but still I am conquered by your loving affection. This is the devotional service. Lord says, by your devotional service, you conquered me by your loving affection, what it says. The same similar, if you can see in Bhagavatam, in so many places, we can see Prahlad Maharaj after killing Narasimhadev, killing Hiranyakasipu, Prahlad Maharaj specifies the Lord Narasimha with prayers. Such a great devotee feels so low. Prahlad Maharaj, such a great devotee, but he's feeling so low and about himself. That's why he is a great devotee. He was feeling so low. What he says, Jivai Kato Achyuta Vihati Mavit Pita Trishno Nayatas Tvig Urgnam Shravanam Kutachit. What is, my dear Lord, O infallible one, my position is like that of a person who has many wives. Prahlad Maharaj says, all trying to attract him by their own way. If you got so many wives, each and every wife will try to attract that man in a different way. For example, luckily we don't have that this thing in culture. For example, if you go to Saudi Arabia, you can see each and everybody will be having 3-4 wives. I had seen when a big Benz car will come, nobody will be sitting in the front of near the driver's seat, because that is not allowed. No ladies allowed. Nowadays they might have changed. During those days, in 70s, 80s, that 4 wives will come in a big car. They will be sitting with their children in the back. For example, here Lord says, if a man is having so many wives, each and every one of them, they will try to attract him in their own way. The tongue, because for an example, tongue is attracted to palatable dishes. Genitals for sex with the attractive man, Prabhupada says in his purport. And the senses of touch to contact with the soft things. The belly, although filled, still want to eat more. The ear, not attempting to hear about you, is telling the Supreme Lord, Narasimhadev. Prahlad Maharaj is explaining, specifying Narasimhadev. He is generally attracted to, the ear is generally attracted to other songs. The sense of smell is attracted yet to another side. The restless eyes are attracted to the senses, scenes of the sense gratification, and the active senses are attracted elsewhere. In this way, I am certainly embraced, Prahlad Maharaj says. Even though he was always concentrating, always remembering, when we talk about Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam means we can refer only to Prahlad Maharaj. But still, Prahlad Maharaj considers himself, he is having all his senses attracted to different things, like how a man got so many wives getting attracted by their cheating tendencies. The human form of life is meant for God realization. But this process, which begins with Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord, is disturbed by a law of as our senses are materially attracted. Therefore, devotion service means purifying the senses. In the conditioned state, our senses are covered by material sense gratification. And we should understand our real constitutional position. Seto darpana marjanam, tava maha davagni nirvapanam, Shreya Vidaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandabudivardhanam Pradivadam Purnamata Swavanam Sarvatma Savanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sangeetanam. We should, that all the conditioned state of mind got to be removed, and we will have to see our pradiksha, what is our proper constitutional position. As long as one is not trained to purify the senses, one cannot become a devotee. In our Krishna conscious movement, therefore, we advise from very beginning that one restrict the activities of sense, especially the tongue, which is described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is a most greedy and unconquerable, which is the tongue, whether it is speaking or eating, both. The only method of controlling the senses is to chant and hear the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Otherwise, one will always be disturbed. Yes, a householder with more than one wife would be disturbed by them for sense gratification. Same way, we will be disturbed by the dragging of our senses. There are so many philosophies finding the ultimate cause. Vedanta Sutra very reasonably says, Adato Brahma Jignasa. Human life is meant for understanding the ultimate cause. Devotees accept the ultimate cause is Krishna, because this conclusion is supported by all Vedic literature and by Krishna himself. Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, Sarvam Pravartate. So I am the source of everything. Devotees have no problem understanding the ultimate cause of everything. But non-devotees must face many opposing elements, because everyone who wants to be a prominent philosopher invent his own way. In India, there are so many, there is no shortage for the philosophies, and there are many parties of philosophers such as Dvaitavadis, Advaitavadis, Vaishasikas, Mimakshas, Mayavadis, and Swabhavavadis. All these people, each of them oppose the other. Everybody will not follow in the same path. Similarly, in the Western countries also, many philosophers with a different view of creation, life, maintenance, and meditation. Thus, it is undoubtedly a fact that there are countless philosophers throughout the world, each of them contradicting each other. Now, one might ask, why there are so many philosophers? If the ultimate goal of philosophy is one, that what we are talking in Bhagavata and Srimad Bhagavatam, undoubtedly the ultimate cause is one, the Supreme Brahman. As Arjuna told in Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma Parandama, Parabrahma Parandama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Saswadam Divyam, Adi Devam Majam Vibhum. You are the Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode of purifiers, the absolute truth, and the eternal divine person. You are the primal Lord, transcendental and original, and you are unborn and all-pervading beauty. Non-devotees, speculators, however, do not accept the ultimate cause, that what it is, Sarvakaranakaram, they will not accept it, because they are ignorant and bewildered concerning the soul and its activities. Even though some of them have the vague idea of the soul, many controversies arise, and the philosophical speculator cannot never reach a conclusion. That is the reason our preaching movement is should become more and more strong to make them understand what is the reality. Sarva Dharman Parijyatya Mamekam Saranam Raja. These conclusions, each and every one, they should get it. Then only their life will be favorable, their life will be enjoyable, so that they will get rid of all this, the feeling about, at least till we live, Janma Mrityu Jaravadi, nobody can avoid, but we will live like a kitten in the mouth of a cat as a devotees, not as a rat in the mouth of a cat. Okay, a rat in the mouth of this thing. So many great personalities. Out of it, Dhuru Maharaj. I was remembering Dhuru Maharaj, like Prahlad Maharaj. He was fortunate to see the Lord directly, just within 6 months of his devotional service. Oh, so this is an encouragement. Those who try like Dhuru Maharaj, there is a possibility of seeing the Lord directly. Bhakting Mune Pravahatam Tvayi Me Prasango Bhuyat Ananda Mahatam Amalashyanam. Dhuru Maharaj continues what he says, "Oh unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with the great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving services." What he is asking is not asking for Danam Anam Sundarim. Same the mood of Mahaprabhu. Nadanam Najanam Na Sundarim Kavidam Va Jagati Sakamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavatar Bhakti Ahaitu Itvai. So, as the waves of river constantly flow, transcendental devotees are completely situated in uncontaminated state of life. So, Dhurumaraja wants, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with the great devotees. By the process of devotion service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of the material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like danger. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastime, which are externally, eternally existent. The significant point in Dhurumara's statement is that he wanted to associate with the pure devotee. In next of instruction, if you see, it is talking about what is the association we should do. What it is, so second verse and third verse, it is talking about association of Sangattado Sadevate Bhaktir Satvidam Preeti Lakshanam. What is the Preeti Lakshanam and what is the way they will have to devotion service can be maintained, and what are the things to be avoided, the 6 things which you will have to avoid, Janasangasya Laulyamcha, like that. It is very properly, it is given in next of instructions. So we should follow that. Here Guru Maharaj is talking about the association of the pure devotees. Okay, it doesn't become a distinct from the material activities. The Lord says, Satam Prasangam Mama Virya Samovida Bhavant Hrit Krishna Rasayanaha. Only that in Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, it was mentioned, only in association of a pure devotee can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to hear, heart and ear. Guru Maharaja explicitly wanted the association of the devotees. That association in devotion service, it's just like the waves of an incessantly flowing river. In our Krishna conscious society, we will have to engagement 24 hours a day. We will have to engage ourselves in all these things. Every moment of our time is always busily engaged in the service of the Lord. That is called incessant flow of the devotional service. Even Kunti Maharani was mentioning this. A Mayavadi philosopher may question, you may be very happy in the association of devotees, but what about your causing the ocean of material existence? Guru Maharaj answers that also. It is not very difficult. He clearly says that the ocean can be crossed very easily if one simply become mad to hear the glories of the Lord. Bhavat Gunakata. For anyone who is persistently engaged in hearing the topic of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and who is actually addicted to this process, just as one become addicted to intoxicants, it is very easy to cross the nascence of material existence. The ocean of material existence, nascence, is compared to a blazing fire. But to devotee, this blazing fire is insignificant because he is completely absorbed in the devotion service. Although the material world is blazing fire, to a devotee it appears full of pleasure. Vishwam Purna Sukyate. Lord himself says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha, Taikya Devam Punarjanma, Vetimam Eti So Arjuna. Just hear about my Janma Karma Divyam, Chame Divyam. All these transcendental activities, you hear about it, that is more than enough. It is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Every devotee, great devotees of the Lord, is explaining about the Lord's pastime. When you hear that, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, it will give you the pleasure in which we can live. Statement by Guru Maharaja is that devotion service in association of devotees is a cause of development of further devotion service. By devotion service only can elevate oneself to the further devotion service to the transcendental planet of Goloka Vrindavana. There are also only devotion service for the activities of devotion service, both this world and the spiritual world are one and the same. The devotion service will not become different in the spiritual world and the material world. Devotion service does not change. The example of mango can be given by Srila Prabhupada. If you one get a unripe mango, is still a mango. When it ripe, it remains same mango. But it has become more tasteful and relishable when it becomes ripe. Similarly, there is a devotion service performed according to the direction of spiritual master and the injection of regulatory principles of Shastra, and there is devotion service in spiritual world rendered directly in associate with the Supreme Lord, but are both the same. There is no change. The difference is that one stage is unripe, other stage is a fully ripe and releasable. It is possible to mature in devotional service only in association of the devotees. So this is the very big two verses which Prabhupada explains so many things about each and every character, what it's indicated, what it symbolizes. So we should understand all those things on the perspective of what is this thing, why it is in the story form, all these Puranjana's life has been informed, and we should understand it is not for anybody else, it is only for each and everyone who is hearing it or studying this. Each and every one of us we should understand what is the effect of Janma Mrityu Jaravadi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. Kalakanya, how she is going to act, each and every Jara Vyadi, how it is going to affect us, each and every one of us. It's not that, see, 2-3 years back that Corona came, each and everyone disturbed into the entire world. And every one of us, we are thinking, what is the next? Who is going to be next? Who is going to be next? So that was the state of mind. But that should have been given us some insight to strongly follow the devotional practice. If it is not given, we are just hearing and leaving. So we should be very serious about all these things. Especially, I am talking about myself in this age. I should follow it very strictly. The thing in the future, all of you who are younger than me can follow it, so that I should be an example. Each and every one of us should think that we should be example for the further upcoming generations, so that each and every one of us got the responsibility. When you feel you are responsible, all this character will automatically, it will come to our mind. So with this wonderful purports by Srila Prabhupada and the examples of Prahlad Maharaj, even in this mature stage, so much of a thing, he feels so very low. Dhuru Maharaj is talking about association of the devotees, and each and every Lord himself say, please do this. Dhamma karma chame devam yevam yo veti tattvaha taikya devam punarjanma naitima meturus. You will not get a rebirth again by remembering me and talking about my lifestyle and the characters and the activities. That will be transcendental to you, like that Lord says. So by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All we should be in association of each and every one of us. Wonderful devotees we are having. Fortunately, we got a wonderful temple. So why alone on Sundays, on Saturdays? Each and every day we should get our association, so that we should lead a wonderful, great life of a great devotional service and go back to home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. I will close it here. It's a time for us to give some reflections, feedbacks, or your realizations, so that any mistake I committed in reading this, you will have to forgive me and tolerate me. Hare Krishna. Bless me for all that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much for nicely summarizing this chapter and also summarizing what the key impediments in the progress of devotional service are and how to overcome those. Devotees can unmute themselves to share reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask.
Hare Krishna, Murali, Murari, Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna,
a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Especially,
Hare
we
Krishna.
emphasized on the mood of our preaching. Should be following the footsteps of Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Always remembering the Trinada peace Vinichenam. So, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for reminding us.
Hare Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Some
Krishna.
time ago, we all had a doubt that once King Malayadvaja comes, is it a real story or it's a
Yes. When I read it also, I am also having the same doubt, because Malayatwaja's daughter is Meenakshi, what we discussed, But these references are coming. But this is all these stories, it is taken from the real characters also. Some of these are from the real characters, some of these are the references are made in a different way. Prabhupada in conclusion is mentioning all these things. This is, you can take it in this way. This is, you can take it. By following somebody, we will have to follow the characters, So that each and every character is given in this.
It is more of a story itself, no, Prabhu. It is not a real thing. Yes,
no, it is a story. Some stories are factual also, no, Mataji. In the stories, a lot of stories we are hearing, but some stories are factual also. It will be, some stories are only imaginary, some stories are factual also. So it could be both. It could be both, but our understanding should be take the core of the theme. What it is about everything boiling down to do the devotion service and our situation. Our situation like a Kala Kanya. Kala Kanya is imaginary this thing, is it not? Kala Kanya, it is giving you, you are getting aged. Each and every day you are getting aged. So that we will have to take it in that way, spirit only.
Yes, Prabhu. Very nicely you accept, but we have to revise.
So many.
Reread and yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks
Dandavat
for
Pranam.
wonderful class. As you said, everything comes to devotional service.
Hari.
But I have one doubt, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Puranjana, because he remembered, he was doing all karma kandiya activities. Because he was attached to his wife.
He became a woman female. On the next life. Yes.
But what Sukriti she had to get married to such a devoted, devotee husband, Prabhu?
That lady, yes.
That lady. By chance, what it is, Prabhu?
It is their Sukriti, how we will know what is the thing. They were their previous lives, lot of devotion service they might have done. So they are getting it. Where the man who attached to a woman, he will become a woman. The woman who attached to a man and serving him, he will become a man. So Sukriti is, it is automatically from the previous life it is coming. So what they did, we are not aware. Why she is so devoted, we are not aware of it.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I read something for this Bhakti Shastri. Whomever you remember that, you will become that, like that, Buddha Dhyante Buddhejya, like that. There is a verse, So those who worship ghosts and spirit, they will take birth in the association of goats and spirit. Those who are the forefathers, when they are talking about the forefather, Pitran on the Pitrabhaja, Yanti, like that, there is a verse is there. In that it's indicated for those who are Deva, when they are worshipping Deva, they will take birth among demigods. Deva Vatan Deva, Yanti Deva Vatan Deva, right? Same verse. So when you remember me, you will come to me. All we will have to see all the three. Whether you go to demigod, whether you want to go to ancestors, whether you want to go to a ghost, what you want to see? You see the last line. When we remember the Lord, do devotion service, we will go back to him. So that we will not get a second, again, birth and death will not be there. So that way we should realize that. So if the time is all great souls we are hearing, so if the time is nearing 9, all of you will be having a lot of thing. So we can close it here if there is no further question.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, we can conclude with Vaishnava pranams.
Panchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhupyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। आनंद कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। नाम की जय।
Hare Krishna. We'll conclude here. Today we'll meet again.